The quickest and easiest way to lower your handicap has always been with knowledge. In this video, I'm going to review the best knowledge provider product in golf, the Arccos Caddie Smart Sensors. Let's get into it. First things first, what are these sensors, what do they look like, and how do they work? This is one of my sensors. It's got a nice screw and it screws into the top of your golf club, just like this. Basically what happens is when you pull your golf club out of the bag and go to hit a shot, the vibrations of your club hitting the golf ball travel up the shaft and into the sensor. And then that sensor triggers a GPS location within the Arccos Caddie app. When you go to take your next shot, the same thing happens and it registers a new GPS location. And from then on, you end up with a map of where you've been on the golf course and how far you've hit each shot. These sensors come in two forms, the ones that screw into the top of your golf club and in the form of a smart grip. With the smart grips, the sensor is embedded into the top of the golf club, but it works exactly the same. When you hit a shot, it'll register where you are in the world and put that into the app for you. The GPS app itself is very good at knowing where you are in the world, right down to fine details like whether you're in the fairway or whether you're in the rough, whether you've hit the green or whether you're just a little bit off the green. And with all this information, Arccos Caddie can start providing you with insights into your game, and these insights help you lower your handicap. Knowledge, the key thing to lowering your handicap. Knowing where you need to improve. You may think you're good at something, but it turns out that you're not as good as you think you are. Having information lets you target your practice, and targeted practice means quick game improvement. When I first started using Arccos, the two bits of information that were incredibly valuable to me for lowering my handicap were how far I've got to my intended target and how far do I hit each club. I don't mean my 7-iron goes between 175 and 185. I mean my 7-iron goes 181 yards. This precise information allows us to navigate our way around the course, knowing that clubs aren't going to go too far, aren't going to go too short, aren't going to end up in that water in front of the green, aren't going to reach that fairway bunker off the tee. When you have these bits of information, you end up in play more often. And a little side note, it actually helps you find your balls a lot easier. The amount of balls that I've found, purely because I'm not egotistical about how far I've hit my drive, I know that it's gone 250 yards because I didn't hit it well. It should be in and around that tree. I always walk up to my ball now. I know exactly where it should be and it's always within a 5-yard radius. If you're on the fence about getting Arccos Caddie, just get it to save some money on some balls. Those two bits of information should be enough to justify having Arccos Caddie on your clubs. But the app itself offers so much more information. Before I show you how great this app is to use on the golf course, let's dive into the type of stats you can expect these sensors to collect for you. Off the tee, the app is going to tell you how many fairways you're hitting on average and whether you're missing them left or right. And if you're losing shots on things like dogleg left, dogleg right, or even a straight hole. All of this information is important to understand because if you know that you're missing left or right more often than not, you can start to figure out where you need to aim to hit more fairways. And hitting more fairways will always lower your handicap. From there, you move into stats around approach. Approach is obviously any shot that you hit towards the green. Stats to expect from this aspect are things like greens in regulation, obviously, but a deeper dive, things like proximity to the hole, where your miss is, left, right, short, long, and it's also going to give you strokes gained depending on what terrain you're hitting from. If you're hitting from the fairway, or if you're hitting from the rough, or if you're hitting from a fairway bunker, the app will give you a strokes gained number, which you can then compare against other handicaps. And this is what I mean about the ability to have targeted practice. You can compare your game against other handicaps. You can compare it against a tour pro if you really want to. But my goal, for example, is a 6 handicap right now. Right now I'm a 10. And I use Arccos to tell me which areas that I need to improve on. Where is a 6 handicap better than me? And with that information, I can practice in the simulator, I can practice out on the golf course, I can practice out on the driving range, practice on the exact things I need to get better. More often than not, it's the short game that people need to improve on. And Arccos Caddie provides stats with this as well. It breaks it down into chip shots, which are between 0 and 25 yards, and pitch shots, which are between 25 and 50 yards. You get stats like missed greens, proximity to the hole, how often you get an up and down, and those same stats transfer down into bunker game as well. And all the while, these stats are being provided in the form of strokes gained. And again, you can compare your strokes gained against other handicaps. Finally, you get some putting stats as well. By defining where the flag is on the green, you'll get accurate stats around your putting, how long your first putt is, how many putts you're taking to reach the hole. And once again, Arccos will give you a strokes gained metric so you can understand if you're not very good at putting, which most of us aren't, because no one ever practiced it, like me. I know I'm giving Arccos Caddie a rave review here, but there are loads of other apps. Let me know in the comments which other apps you guys are using. Have you used Arccos Caddie in the past and stopped using it? If so, why? There's always a lot of interaction in my comments, and hopefully we can all learn from each other. Most of the time, you're going to be using Arccos as a GPS app out on the golf course. And in my opinion, this is probably the best GPS app out there. I've used loads, from golf shot to 18 birdies to golf pad, and I always end up coming back to using Arccos Caddie. Not just for the stats, but because I think the app, the GPS app itself, is so much better. After a certain amount of rounds, the app is going to tell you how far you're hitting each club, and that's when it starts turning into an actual caddy. Off the tee, you're going to be able to pinpoint a location on the map that you want to lay up to, or you want to see how far it is to get to the end of a fairway, for example. Not only is Arccos going to tell you how far away that target is, it's going to tell you how the conditions are actually affecting that distance. Is the wind into? Is it cold? Are you at altitude? It'll take all of those factors and recommend a club for you to hit that far. Obviously, you can't use this in competition, but it's very good just on a normal round. And it helps you learn the impact that these conditions have on your distance. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is where Arccos Caddie can really help you improve. Knowing how far you need to hit a golf club to avoid trouble, and then the app knowing how far you hit certain clubs, it's going to tell you what club you need to hit to stay in play, to stay in the game, to lower your handicap. Plotting your way around a golf course is so much easier with this app, and it looks good and it's easy to use. Finally, let's consider the price of Arccos Caddie. Initially, I think this price is going to sound like a lot. The cost for the sensors or the grips are going to cost between about £180 and £210, depending on where you buy them. Always buy when there's a sale on, because the price comes down to about £150 or £160. On top of that, there's a £99 a year subscription. I can feel my face wincing at these prices. But I'll tell you something, I've always bought them and I've always paid. And that must be for a reason. I think I really enjoy using the app, and I've always improved my game. I've always lowered my handicap when I've used the app, and I've used the stats, and I've used the recommendations that it gives. So think of that as you will. Is it a price worth paying? You can get a lot of information from free apps, but I will say that Arccos Caddie does it better than any other app out there, in my opinion, and I have used a lot of different apps. In my opinion, I think Arccos is worth the money, and I will always use it to improve my golf. And there you have it. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. That's my review of the Arccos Caddie Smart Sensors. If you've liked the video, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and obviously like the video itself. I can't tell you how helpful it is when you guys do that. It helps the videos on my channel reach other people like you, which makes the channel grow. If there are any other golf products you'd like me to review, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.